is Maxine Hines from the Pacifica Historical Society and host of tonight's show, Footprints of Pacifica. We get together each week to discover and explore the lore and law of lovely Pacifica, its character and its characters. The focus of tonight's show is Huldah Williams. Huldah is an active community leader, has been a selfless volunteer in numerous local and international organizations. Originally from Jersey City, the eighth of 9 children, widowed twice, 4 daughters, 1 deceased, and a resident of our fair Pacifica for over 40 years. At the age of 97, Huldah has led a remarkable life. Thank you so much for joining us today, Huldah. Now, I want to get into your activism. Explain to me how this shirt came about. How did this start?
Well, Safeway decided to close their store in the Park Mall, which is right opposite where I live at Pacific Oaks, and also there's another senior housing on Terra Nova that needs at any rate, they pulled out in a month's notice, and Mr. Jack Ford had somehow organized a group of people to protest this and try to get a new market in there. And for a year we met in an attempt, but Safeway was adamant that there wouldn't be another market in there. But finally, we did get a smaller market, which is much needed, and it's serving the purpose very well.
I must say you're right. You're absolutely right. Now, you also were active, too, in getting the bus stop changed, the bus route. Could you tell us about that a little?
Well, in order to get to the senior center or to the post office, the bus route was somehow changed, that it didn't go all the way down Crespi to Route 1 and turned off at another street to Lindemar. So in order to get to either the post office or the senior center, you needed to take another bus just to go around the corner.
So I understand that's how that was done. Okay, well, very good. Thank you so much. Now, you also have been a school volunteer, and with the looming budget cuts and proposed class size increase and school closures, your feelings are that now more than ever, it's important that we have community involvement. We had the pleasure of visiting the Ortega School classroom of a Miss Ellen Lothan, where Huldah volunteered for many years. So much of our show will be on location from there. So let's cut away to our video of that interview.
items, so we don't know. It's certainly a possibility.
Okay.
Yeah. That we just depend on parents a lot more, and then our Pacifica School volunteers who donate their time, especially with Elsie. You might not remember, but you were instrumental. Things that he just needed. He needed a grandma-like firmness with love attached. A grandma-like firmness with love attached.
And
that was Huldah.
Yeah. I
And
like
he responded to her, so I was like, "You go, girl." That's I won't use.
I can remember the one day he kept wandering away from. He had to go to the bathroom. He had to wash his hands, and I said, "Come and sit down. Come and sit down." And he'd come and sit down and be up again. I said, "Come back down." Finally, I said, "Sit down," and the whole class.
And he did.
And he sat down.
But what was great is you would say, "What did your teacher ask you to do?" And they would go, "Walk in line." And they'd walk in line. I mean, just reaffirming, just kind of taking these little things and kind of, okay, this way, eyes in front, this way. Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right. Ready to go?
Oh, and she taught me the Good Morning song, which we still do every day on the piano, every single day. We never miss it. That was Huldah. Her first grade teacher taught her. It was her first grade song. So she taught it to us, and now I've played it ever since.
You kidding?
Yeah.
That's
Good
pretty neat.
morning,
You know how that
bright
goes?
sunshine. We're glad you are here. You make the world happy and bring us good cheer. Good morning, teacher.
That is so neat. Well, we may have to close with that.
We've got it.
Love it. Oh, you did? Okay, that's great.
So you can put it wherever you want it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I guess we'll get ready to go here. Show. The focus of today's show is the wonderful Ms. Huldah Williams. And she's been a resident of Pacifica for over 40 years. And during that time, she's been a caretaker, an advocate, an activist, and a selfless volunteer to numerous organizations, both locally and internationally. We're here at Ortega School today to continue Huldah's story by talking to Ellen. Ellen, is it Louthan?
Louthan. But the kids call me Miss Al.
Miss Al?
It is difficult, especially when you're missing some teeth. It's difficult to
Miss Al?
pronounce. Miss Al.
I'll take it. And you're a kindergarten teacher here.
Yes.
And Huldah, I understand, has worked with you for a number of years.
Yes.
And would you share some of your fond memories? And first of all, give us an idea of your background. Are you a native of Pacifica?
I was born in New York, but moved to Louisiana. Spent most of my childhood in Louisiana and came out here in 77,
Okay.
where I went to graduate school at San Francisco State and got my master's and started teaching. Ever since, this is my 26th year of teaching.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And how long have you been in Pacifica?
In Pacifica since '82, at Oddstead and now Ortega. 21 years in kindergarten.
Wonderful.
Kindergarten, yeah.
And tell me when you first met Huldah.
When I first met Huldah, we filled out paperwork if we wanted a Pacifica School volunteer, and Huldah and I clicked right away. She said, I want you to use me where I can be the most useful, not just to have me in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I utilized Huldah mainly on a one-to-one, giving extra TLC
Mm-hmm.
to the kids, so she got to know them pretty well. I'm thinking in my head just a handful of just those little ones who needed some extra TLC with loving firmness. I I should say. And then Huldah would say, she always would talk about her grandkids, grandkids, great-grandkids, and could rattle them off by name. And they were all over the place. So then she started to talk to us about her travels. And she would know if we were studying this. She would, I think trains was one that's rattling my memory. When we were doing something with vehicles, trains, she brought in some of her travels that had to do with trains, always wearing a special hat. So she would tell us where the hat came from.
Okay.
And then she loved our interest in ladybugs, because of course we do a whole ladybug unit and butterflies. And so she would find something interesting on ladybugs and bring it. And she introduced us to Flat Stanley, an upper grade. Erica, Flat Stanley, whereby Flat Stanley is a little character this tall, and he's flat, and he gets mailed all around the United States. And you have to write about where you are in San Francisco, and so he comes with a journal, and the kids learn all about geography by where Flat Stanley goes.
Wow.
And so we just became very, very close. Huldah has been an honorary invitee and participant of our Valentine's Tea. And then she is an honorary guest at our annual lemonade stand. When we moved to Ortega from Odsted, she was just a hop, skip, and a jump. The walk was a little more uphill, I think. And so it's interesting because I've not gotten another Pacifica School volunteer since Huldah. I just don't, because she's my Pacifica School volunteer. And the kids treated her with respect, and they sometimes would listen to her when told to do something, better than listening to this lady they've had day after day after day. And they also, and as a woman, she's an inspiration to all women, like I was telling you when Amy was in here, because of the things that she has done. She also invited me to a birthday party where she hired somebody who did a seminar on laughter and the importance of laughter.
Oh, yes. Oh, really?
Yes, and you didn't tell these guys that?
I forgot about it.
See, I wrote that down because, and I said that's amazing. I mean, because laughter, given these times or given illnesses, I think that's what keeps you just that, and that you keep going like the Energizer Bunny. But if I remember, your refrigerator all has these wonderful, funny, little comical quotes, and I love to laugh and have fun, so we laugh together too. So she's just a 20 in my book of 1 to 10.
And what would you say the traits that Huldah possesses that makes her so special?
She listens.
Mm-hmm.
She's very articulate, but she keeps wanting to educate herself from writing classes. Did you guys know about her writing classes? That was, you took writing classes and pieces that she wrote. For fun, I'll never forget, you came and said that you and your girlfriend took the train to, the BART train, to either the airport, no, not the airport, but to Emporium, and you had tea and came back. This was quite a bit ago.
Went to the airport.
Maybe it just, I mean, that's amazing to just go versus just, and she hasn't always felt the greatest.
Yeah.
But even through it all, you'll always say, I have more good days than bad days, and I bet you even if that's not true, you still say that. So there's power in that. There's power in that, and that's why you're living to be 97 and have just been so vivacious and
inspirational.
Beautiful. Inspirational,
yes.
Totally.
Really, she really has.
That's right.
And what would you think, Huldah? I know that you love people, And all your life you've been about caring for others. What special enjoyment do you get out of working with the children today? Or that you did when you were volunteering?
Yes. I get the most enjoyment out of watching Mrs. Loudon or Mrs. L. teach. I learned so much from her. Her ability to keep things going without being harsh at any time. I never found a time when she was harsh to any child. And to me, that's amazing, because some of the children were discipline problems. There's no doubt about that. Get to wait till it. And yet you never pointed them out in any way. You were still one of the class. You would let me know that there was more of a problem than the others, but you wouldn't know it by the way she was teaching.
And how many days did you volunteer with her?
I only volunteered 1 day a week, every Wednesday.
And that was from start to finish?
No.
What time did you come in?
I'd come in about 10 o'clock till about 12, till they went.
Her activism, and at Pacific Oaks, I don't know what your position was, but you were, I think, like a union, or something comparable.
President of the,
yes,
of
exactly.
the association, yes.
To docent, weren't you? You did something at San Pedro Park, or were
Yes.
Volunteer at San Pedro. So how can you get more people involved to help you out?
And I think they contact Pacifica School Volunteers, and I think a lot of times people are nervous when it comes to helping with kids, or gee, I don't think I can, do that. I wasn't a strong reader myself, but just all the gifts that adults have, and talents that they might not even think would be helpful in a classroom. Huldah's travels and then her knowledge, because she's traveled so much to bring that. And I think we did a whole thing with maps and followed where I had done this of all where you came from, and then just being someone close by you, they feel that person for you. I'm thinking of one little guy, Michael in particular. He would ask for you, and I didn't know the impact you had made until one Wednesday you were going to come a little bit later, and he said, "Where's Mrs. Williams?" And these little snippets that you hear, it's just invaluable, and it helps both.
Yes.
It keeps us young working with children, and it helps them. So it's a win-win situation. And given budget cuts, or if whatever's going to happen in our district, that's a bonus.
Yes.
That's a bonus.
Now that telephone number you gave me was the 650-355-9432 for the Pacifica School Volunteer.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll double check it, but we'll put the.
And right now, Joan Weideman is the person. She's the person running it now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now you were telling a story earlier about the song that Huldah shared, and you still.
Huldah came in one day. We had done I think another Good Morning song, and she said, is it okay if I teach the kids the one I learned when I was in first grade? Well, they're looking at her going, you were once in
First grade?
So then, and you know, Huldah never minded I don't mind people knowing my age. In fact, we did a fun thing out on the wall, when you're 100 you will look like, and they pointed out all my wrinkles and age spots. I said, yes, I need to put one there, and your face kind of drips. Yes, it does. Better put something there, So I always laugh, and Huldah never minded. So we put her age, subtracted theirs, and they were like, whoa, that's amazing. They sang back then, and so we giggled about that. Well, ever since you taught it, we let go of the one I taught, and I'll sing it. You'll sing, I'll play it?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yes. Here we go. And we've added a little new thing. We start with, what's the weather? Sunny. So then, good morning, bright sunshine. We're glad you are here. You make the world happy and bring us good cheer. Good morning, boys and girls, and they say good morning.
How neat.
My teacher, good morning. And this is all from Huldah.
And this was in Jersey. You brought it from Jersey?
Jersey City,
Amazing.
number 10 school. The teacher was Mrs. Baker.
Did you tell these guys about why you became a nurse?
No, that's another long story.
It's an amazing story about why you became.
We're talking about school volunteers. That's how I came to do this. One of the residents of Pacific Oaks was volunteering down at Cabrillo School, and she was asked if somebody could come from school volunteers to one of our poorer meetings, which is Pacific Oaks Residents Association. And this lady came and then left information. And there were 2 of us who decided to sign up. That's how come I got started. Just, well, it's a chance to do something worthwhile. I feel we're here to serve, not to be served.
Sure do that, Huldah.
Yes. And with that remarkable spirit, that's why you continue to touch people's lives. And it's just really a blessing to have you still with us. So, in closing, for the footprints on Pacifica, this is just a wonderful way to show how there are people, one person can touch so many lives. And we're thankful to have you here. Thank you. And thank you so much, Ellen, for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, there was more to that story before we cut away to that video. Now tell us how you got the CEO of Samtram involved in deciding to change the route.
I went to their meeting twice. The second time, I asked for these 10 minutes to explain what the problem was. And he immediately assigned a gentleman to take me into another room, and we discussed the problem. And eventually they came down to Pacifica, or up to Pacifica, and discussed the problem, and also moving a light, not a light, but the bus stop sign off the light pole, which was on our property, to the street. And while he was discussing that, he said, "Would you like a bench here?" So I immediately contacted our manager, and she okayed it. That's why we have a bench by the bus stop.
Excellent. Now, when you saw that CO, how many petitions? You had, well, I understand you had a whole page of petitions. And I really would like to thank you so much for coming in today. And in closing, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints in the sands of time. Good night.